Welcome to Woah Drama Stories. We indulge of speaking of day-to-day troubles of human beings. Let's not wait any longer and start with the video. Parents try to connect after I go no contact for years after my golden child of a brother slept with my ex, but I didn't know that their parents were to demand this out of me as an apology. I'm dumbfounded. Story 1. I've always known that my boyfriend of 4 months loves living the life of the party. I mean, that is where I met him as well, getting absolutely blasted with his friends. Our extroverted personalities helped us get along amazingly well, and after about 1 month of flirting, going on small dates, and partying, we decided to start dating. After we started dating, I toned down a lot on the partying. I didn't really have any problem with partying, but the reality is that I just never partied as much as my boyfriend did. I'm extroverted, but I'm not like my boyfriend who needs to go to parties to socialize. So after we started dating, it was just my boyfriend who would go to most of the parties, and I was absolutely okay with that. I knew there would be girls present there. I knew, like all other colleges, my college was big on the hookup culture too, but I felt like an assured person, and so I let him do his thing until this happened. It was a couple days back. My boyfriend was talking to his friend in the morning as we were grabbing breakfast together as usual. This was nothing new. My boyfriend and his friend always spoke in the morning over the phone about what their plans were for the evening, usually partying. This time was no different. They spoke about what options they had, and then, I don't know what was said on the other side of the phone, but I heard my boyfriend's response to it, which was, "If there are no girls at that party, what's the point of us being there?" He said that as he looked at me. I could make out nervousness from his eyes covered with laughter. He could probably see the heartbreak in my eyes, and immediately told his friend that he'd contact him later. He started convincing me that it was a joke. I felt my trust in him shatter, and I guess my eyes really said that. He tried so hard to convince me that it was a joke, and I even tried telling him it was okay, but I guess my eyes really expressed my disappointment. He started getting angry at me, telling me how I couldn't take a joke and how childish it was of me. I was so shocked and confused that I couldn't get myself to say anything as he went on this rampage. That got him even angrier, so much so that he ended up just leaving. I tried to get him to stop, but he just didn't. Ever since then, I've tried contacting him and also his friends, none of them willing to talk to me. So now, I'm here completely lost. I'm in my second year of university currently, and I know as university students, this is the time of our lives. This is the time where we can live the most, and we should just chill back. But something about this situation just isn't letting me chill like everyone is suggesting I should do so. Something about this situation is just rubbing me the wrong way, and with no one by my side to assure me that I'm not being a crazy jealous girlfriend, I just can't help but think that I'm being one. So that is what brings me here. I'd really appreciate you guys' honest opinions, because I really want to know if what I feel is right or wrong. Is there any possible way to sabotage this relationship? Hey guys, sorry for the late update. I honestly completely forgot about this post because I didn't expect for it to get so many responses, especially so many supportive ones, but I've gone through almost all of them, and I'm not lying when I tell you guys that they were extremely supportive and helpful. They helped me realize just how much I was being dragged into peer pressure from a lot of my friends, mutuals, and even my ex's friends telling me to give in. I was truly on the verge of doing so. Really, because there was a point where I genuinely believed I was almost next to brainwashed, and to believing something was wrong with me for being concerned with the person who I was calling my boyfriend, talking about going to parties to meet girls. Well, the same person who I was calling my boyfriend, the person who I was supposed to love and trust, turned out to be public property. My concern turned out to be a reality, and he indeed was cheating on me with multiple women at all the parties he attended. And he blamed me for it because I was a bore for making him look single and a loser at these parties where everyone was either hooking up or they were with their partners. All of his friends, and even some of mine, agreed, and I'm honestly grateful because it acted as a filter to help me remove the trash out of my life. I didn't know I needed to much earlier because I turned into a zombie with no emotions like him. I'm definitely saddened by everything that has gone down, but at the same time, I feel like it has given me a lot to reflect on. The type of people I surround myself with, the type of relationship I want to get into, and the type of lifestyle I want to lead have all become topics laid on the table for me to consider. Hopefully, eventually, I'll be able to untangle all of them. Opinion 1. Your boyfriend and the people around you seem immature as hell. If the people around you think what your boyfriend did wasn't a huge deal, you should definitely try and reconsider who you want to surround yourself with. Opinion 2. The boyfriend and the people siding with him are the a-holes. Seems like OP has surrounded herself with the wrong crowd. Unfortunately, this isn't anything new for university students. The fact that she's trying to get herself out of the toxic cycle is good though. Story 2. My dad passed away when I was 6, and 2 years after that, my mom got with my stepdad. I've never had a problem with their relationship. In fact, I've always been nothing but happy for my mom that she was able to move past my dad's tragic and sudden death and move on to someone better. I've never tried to replace my dad with my stepdad either, because I've just never felt a connection with him. He's never tried to build a serious or strong relationship with me, and that topic seemed like a hush-hush between his long-term, 10-year-old relationship with my mom. So I just appreciated the fact that he never harassed me like many of the stories I heard and read, and tried to move on from it. Unfortunately, I can't say that it's a forever thing, because ever since my stepdad got married to my mom 2 years ago, it seems like my life has started to sound like those Reddit posts too. My stepdad, who was previously neutral to me, started getting colder and outright mean to me. Initially, even though it all hurt, I was able to chalk all of it up to misunderstanding or miscommunications, because everything that went down never happened in front of my mom. It was always when she wasn't around, and when she was back from doing whatever she was, he was back to normal. This time it was different. I was back home for Thanksgiving. I was really excited to meet my mom and devour her delicious Thanksgiving dinner, but my stepdad had very different plans. He sat me down as soon as I stepped foot inside the house. Yes, Mom wasn't home around this time either, and he simply just told me that since I'm turning 18 soon, he thinks it's about time that I stop being a burden to my mom. I could feel a sense of panic take over me. I felt sadder than ever, but the words just couldn't come out of my mouth to fight him, because along with his harsh words, he admitted that this is what my mom actually wanted. He told me that I was a burden to her ever since my dad passed away, and that knew my mental health was too fragile to admit any of it. They were planning to have kids of their own, he said, and told me that he hoped this served as a gentle reminder that I needed to take a step back and start living my own life and let them live theirs. I didn't know what to say from there. I just picked up my bags and left. I ended up booking a hotel in my city, and that's where I'm currently living. I know I don't want to go back to my college dorm, because looking at all the empty rooms will do nothing but serve as a stinging reminder that I'm the unwanted one. I've switched off my phone, and I'm just spending my day watching movies, waiting for the days to pass away like a sleep paralysis nightmare. Is there anything else I can do about this situation anyways? Update 1. I ended up turning on my phone after Thanksgiving ended, and first decided to go through this post. The huge amount of comments rightly pointed out at the fact that my mom actually did end up spamming my phone all throughout Thanksgiving, and the days leading up to it, telling me that she's worried about my whereabouts. Her last message even said she was planning to go to the cops if I didn't answer by today. And of course, I didn't want to be a waste of time and emotions to anyone, so I ended up calling my mom. She immediately answered the call, just within 2 to 3 rings, and started asking me a barrage of questions about my whereabouts. She was almost on the verge of tears, which made me tear up as well. It all ended up me breaking down over all that happened. My mom was horrified upon hearing all that went down. She began crying even more, even apologizing to me over and over again. She confessed through her tears that she was aware of my stepdad's dislike towards me. She told me how he never wanted to father another man's child, and only would hear with me because of my mom's constant requests. My mom, on the other hand, kept hoping and hoping that he'd change, grow, and improve somehow, till the moment they got married. Unfortunately, that day never came, and he began pressing my mom to do something as soon as they got married. I guess it ended with him taking matters into his own hands and doing what he did to me before Thanksgiving. My mom was obviously not happy with it though, and also decided to separate from him the very same day. Him and his family have been giving me grief over everything that has gone down, but I cannot feel an inch of remorse because I know he deserves what has happened to him. It's not just him. I think I'm finding myself holding my mom just as accountable as him in this situation. I made it clear to her that just because she's leaving him, that doesn't mean I'm going to forgive her. I know this may be harsh, but I know I can't help the way I feel. For now, I can only hope time heals. Opinion 1. Feels good to read that OP isn't blinded by the mom's attempts to try and sabotage her relationship with OP after realizing how bad she's messed up. Please get therapy for yourself and your mom, because it's pretty evident from this post that both of you guys have some things that are remnant of what happened to your dad. Opinion 2. I got a bad vibe from the stepdad from the get-go. Good on you for standing your ground, OP. Story 3. My parents have always loved my younger brother more than me, and honestly, I was okay with that. Ever since I was little, I've heard tales upon tales about how he's their miracle baby because the doctors had assured my parents that they wouldn't have a child after me due to the pregnancy complications my mom had giving birth to me. They were so set on the fact that my brother is better than me. Hell, not just even me, even my cousins, his friends, my friends, their friends' kids, and everyone. It wasn't even like my brother was anything out of the ordinary. Not saying this to bring him down or anything. And not anything out of the ordinary either, but he just never lived up to the hype that my parents gave him. You guys might be thinking that I'm over-exaggerating my memories here, but that's simply not true, because the way they hyped him even conditioned me to think that he's something better than me. It wasn't for too long, though, because as a senior in high school, my brother did something that was unforgivable in my eyes. It was a slap in the face that I needed. My brother slept with my girlfriend of 4 years. I'm not gonna lie and say that our relationship was perfect. It was pretty immature, but being as broken as I was at that point, that relationship was everything I ever wished for, and my brother had ruined it. We got into a huge argument. My parents obviously sided with him, and it soured our relationship to the max. I decided I no longer wanted to be a part of this dynamic. Graduation was close by, and so I grabbed a suitcase full of clothes and accepted a college furthest away from where my family lived. Worst of it was that I never heard back from them once I left. It hurt, but I accepted my faith and built a life of my own independently. I met a beautiful woman, got married to her, and she gave birth to twins recently. I have a great paying job, and life is as dreamy as it possibly can be. Unfortunately, I cannot say I'm over what happened between my parents, brother, and I. Although my wife's family consider me as their own, I can't help but wish I could double the love. I guess my need for validation from my family led me to fall into their trap. It started off by mom messaging me on Facebook to congratulate me on my twins. The congratulatory message turned into a chat for 3 weeks, where my mom sugar-coated her words like never before. Alas, I was convinced to meet her and the family. I went to my old house with my wife and the kids. My mom and dad invited me in and began talking to me as if we're not just meeting after years. Then, the alarm started ringing. My brother and his wife, my high school ex, emerged, and they immediately aimed at my kids. They began babying them and didn't take too long to make my wife uncomfortable. The babies too got overwhelmed and began crying uncontrollably. My wife and I decided to leave for the day, and that is when my brother and his wife blew up at us, calling us all sorts of names. We were flabbergasted. I asked my mom what was all of this about, and she answered awkwardly that the reason to invite me over was to convince me to give away one of my twins as an apology to my brother because his wife was not able to conceive. I was dumbfounded. I took a minute to compose myself and to let them know that there was seriously no way that would happen in a million years. They tried arguing with me over it, but I simply just left before things got too heated. Ever since then, it seems like everyone has been angry at me. My parents, my wife, her family, and my extended family. I knew this was a major F-up, but was I so wrong? Update 1. A couple of commenters have asked for an update since I last posted. I sat my wife down and explained everything that went down. I told her about my insecurities, my mom's change of attitude, and everything. I even cried a little while confessing that, because I felt like I was putting a piece of my heart out for her to see. She cried with me and told me that she understood and would even go as far as to say she forgave me, but she said it'd take her a while and a lot of commitment coming from me to change. I said I understood. We've returned back home ever since and I've made sure to block my parents and others trying to pressurize me. I've also found a good therapist for myself for the first time in years and have already scheduled a session for myself. I know this isn't the most, but I think I'm off to a good beginning. Hopefully, this will come to a good end also. Thank you guys. Opinion 1. Get therapy unless you want to destroy your relationship with your kids and your wife over your deep-rooted insecurity. I'm sure your wife can forgive what happened as a one-off situation, but for the love of God, don't let it happen again. Opinion 2. You're the a-hole currently, but you're trying to turn things around, so I guess I can give you that. I hope you can get past your insecurities, really.